All righty. Hello, hello. This is Mariam. I am your identity integration guide, somatic practitioner, and writer. Today we are discussing self-adornment as a tool, healing as a healing tool for complex trauma recovery. Um, Let me share my screen. Sweet. Can you see it?
It just says Mariam has started sharing, but I am not seeing. Oh, here we go.
Got it? Okay.
It is here.
Sweet. Okay. All right, welcome to our class on self-adornment as foundational to CPTSD recovery. Alternative titles I thought of: Reclaiming Your Inner Diva and How to Feel Alive Again After Narcissistic Abuse, because F that shit. For real. Yeah, for real, for real. Okay. The objective is to teach personal style not as fashion advice, but as identity reclamation, self trust restoration, and embodied visibility. So, feeling safe being seen, that's the ultimate goal because complex trauma makes you want to hide. It makes you freeze, and it doesn't allow you to express yourself as you really are. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the process of reconnecting with yourself after years of self abandonment and self neglect, survival patterns often associated with complex trauma, and how personal style can become a practice of identity reclamation. So I say self neglect because without your conscious integration, without consciously being aware of like showing up as your true self on a regular basis and taking advantage of opportunities that allow you to be seen, that allow you to express yourself truly, complex trauma becomes further ingrained into your livelihood, into your personality. A lot of people think that their personalities is naturally just shy. And for some people, they are. But there are others out there that feel shy. They can perceive themselves kind of being a watered down version of themselves, but there's a creative side, an expressive side inside of them that wants to be seen, but the body doesn't feel safe enough to.
hmm
Yeah, this results in you unconsciously repeating old patterns in the form of neglect and self abandonment. And one thing I love to repeat, you'll hear me repeating this all the time, that what was learned can always be unlearned.
mm
All right, part one. So today's class is not about becoming more fashionable. It's about understanding how many of us learn to hide ourselves and how style can become a practice of returning to yourself. So, Megan, tell me, have you ever dressed to avoid attention? Have you worn things because they were acceptable more rather than them being something that represents you and that excites you? Have you made yourself smaller, safer? Tell me about it.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I feel like when I was very young, I started dressing to avoid attention because of the attention like my body was getting and just getting no direction from anybody about, how I dress. It was just all kind of negative. So
Right.
really early on, I would just wear like big baggy shirts, all that kind of stuff. And then that later like evolved into trying to dress like for attention, but it was just like, well, what is okay to wear? What will,
Right.
like be okay in this setting? What will be okay with this? And I felt like extreme anxiety
Yeah.
around picking out outfits. And if there was something I liked, I think I would have even more anxiety, about
Right.
it.
If
And yeah,
you're saying you had more anxiety when you decided an outfit for yourself that felt more like you.
yeah.
Okay. Where are you at in your journey? Where are you at in your journey now?
I like how I dress now, but I still have a lot of like, I don't know, I would say like the lack of enthusiasm, around it. A lot of days I just get up and like I'm like, oh yeah, I should brush my hair. And it's just like, okay, I have those sweatpants. Woohoo. It's very just like, okay, like what can I put on? And like I guess I'm nowhere near as anxious like as I was about going out and being perceived by people. It's
Yeah.
just like I understand there's a baseline of respect, that people best give. Um,
Right.
and I show up as I do, but there's still like this real lack of enthusiasm. And like I've noticed as my social group has grown, I've made like good friends. I've noticed that like people have just more like enthusiasm,
Right.
around like dressing themselves. And so I've been like, oh, that's interesting. Like,
I
I wonder
see.
what that's like.
I see. That's really cool. That's good to know. It's good to know that like you're aware of this because that's the first step. It's awareness. Because without awareness, then you're just kind of blindly moving forward. Um, and then on top of that, you're not able to like identify a goal, identify a transformation for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So awareness is the starting point, which is awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about my story and what I allowed to become possible. So there was a time when I had no idea who I was. I didn't feel strong enough to be honest about how I felt. I constantly made myself smaller around other people just to feel accepted and just to belong. Even if even if they were like crowds of people that I didn't even resonate with, I just wanted somewhere to belong. And so I shrunk myself. And while I am still a human being who continues to grow and integrate what I've learned, today I live very differently than who I was years ago at the peak of the the narcissistic abuse I was experiencing in my family and all that. It was just the peak. So I'm very different than who I was today. And I'm able to recognize and honor my emotions instead of suppressing them. I know how to move emotions through my body rather than getting stuck in them like I used to. I can communicate my needs and my desires even when I feel nervous. I wear what genuinely pleases me without collapsing under the fear of judgment. And I share my ideas, my creativity, and my personality online without constantly anticipating criticism or ridicule.
Mm.
And this was something I had to grow through specifically because I've watched old like TikTok videos, the old content I used to create, and I could tell I was very performative because I wanted to be perceived in a certain way, which is understandable. Like we want to be perceived in a positive way, but the beauty of this like journey is surrendering to that and recognizing that as you allow yourself to be authentically you, as a result, you attract those that are on that same frequency as you. So if you've ever felt like, where are my people? The only way for you to truly find your people and have them be, magnetized to you is by allowing yourself to be seen and to be your true self. So that is the journey we are exploring together, not becoming someone else, but returning to the parts of yourself that survival taught you to hide. Because healing didn't make me a different person, it just gave me permission to stop abandoning myself.
Mm.
So before we start today's class, I want to show you something that is deeply personal because I don't want to teach you something that I have not lived. I use my own story to demonstrate what this transformation can look like. There was a time when I had no idea who I was. I didn't feel strong enough to be honest about how I felt. I made myself smaller around other people so that I could belong. I suppressed my desires. I dressed in ways that helped me avoid judgment and even visibility. I worried constantly about what other people thought of me. And while I continue to grow and integrate what I've learned, I live very differently today. I can identify and honor my emotions instead of suppressing them. I know how to move emotions through my body rather than remaining stuck in them. I communicate my needs and my desires even when I feel nervous, because I feel nervous a lot of the time because, complex trauma, it's ingrained in your body. So as you're beginning to step up into your truth, your body may have the reflex of fear or anxiety. But the journey, the transformation is having the wisdom and the insights and the commitment to self-devotion, and so much so that it becomes second nature to override that anxiety. I wear what genuinely pleases me without collapsing under the fear of judgment. And oh, it looks like this is repeating. That's okay though. And I share my ideas, my creativity, and personality online without anticipating criticism or ridicule. And like I said earlier, healing did not make me a different person. It just gave me permission to stop abandoning myself. So I have a few photos here that I'd like to show you to,
Oh.
yeah, really, really paint the picture for who I used to be and how I used to show up in life. This is me in survival mode. And when I look at these pictures, I don't feel anything negative. Like I'm more so compassionate with this girl that I used to be. And nothing was wrong with this version of me because she was simply surviving. This is her in survival mode. And I want you to pay attention to like my outfits, the way I express myself physically. So this was at the peak of, it was at the peak of survival mode. Let's just call it that. You can see how, number one, my expression is dull. I mean,
Mm.
I can see it. I can pick up on how like lifeless I was internally, how much I was just struggling to be present and experience this life joyfully. You'll notice the colors I'm wearing and the patterns I'm wearing are quite bland. They kind of allow me to blend in, which is what I was seeking at the time. I just wanted to blend in. I didn't feel safe being seen, which happens from complex trauma. So, yeah, the colors are muted. There's little to no patterns. I also used to wear very baggy clothes because I wanted to hide, essentially.
Mm.
And at the time, I wasn't asking myself what makes me feel good or what really feels like Mariam, what really feels like me. Instead, I was asking, how do I avoid judgment and how do I blend in? Or even, how do I make sure I'm not making anyone uncomfortable? A lot of people come to me and they say, I shrink myself around other people because I don't want to intimidate them. I don't want to make them feel smaller.
Yeah, wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, that
Which
was
is which is like a whole thing you have to find the courage to overcome. That's what it means to be devoted to yourself. It's prioritizing your joy, your pleasure, your happiness above anyone else's. And that feels extreme for people that come from these dysfunctional homes because we were taught choosing yourself is wrong. Choosing yourself is like hurting other people. But
yeah.
it was never our responsibility to manage the feelings of others. So it created a very codependent individual.
Mm.
So this is what happened when I stopped abandoning myself. I have a collection of photos, and there's details in all of them that I want us to pay attention to. Okay, so this is in the early years of me choosing myself. Like this is in the beginning stages of like me finding the courage and the confidence to experiment with my style. I was playing with patterns, with accessories, with jewelry. I even got my lip pierced. But after years of self abandonment, not knowing who I was and not having the courage to be myself or explore my identity, I finally decided that I am unwilling to continue sacrificing myself just to belong. So these pictures are depicting that embodiment, like that decision. Like I will no longer shrink myself. I will devote myself entirely to myself because that is what I deserve. You'll notice my self expression develop over the years. I played around with colors, patterns, textures, accessories because I wanted to finally identify myself. I no longer wanted to exist in hiding. I didn't want to hide anymore. I knew I had so much to offer to the world, and it was frustrating to me that I wasn't allowing myself to be seen. And more importantly, I wanted to finally see myself. Like I wanted the true, I wanted the real me to come out and play and feel safe enough to come out and be seen. And so I started going to the gym more. I started going rock climbing. That's something I've
Mm.
always wanted to do. And that's important to note because a lot of folks with complex trauma, when you don't feel safe being seen, a lot of the time you avoid hobbies. You avoid putting yourself in situations where you can, you, you might make like a ridicule of yourself. You might humiliate yourself. But no, I was willing to be a beginner. And I just
Mm.
embodied that and I showed up for myself the way I wanted to. And I didn't wait until I felt fearless. I just stopped waiting for fear to disappear before expressing myself. And more importantly, when I look at the girl in the earlier pictures, I look at this girl with a lot of compassion because she spent years doing what she believed she had to do in order to survive. And the woman you see today is not better than this girl up here. She's simply what happened when I stopped abandoning her, when I stopped neglecting myself and neglecting my desires and my interests. My hope is not that you become me. My hope is that you become more like you. That is the ultimate goal. All right, let's move forward. So, this is part two. Why do we disconnect from ourselves in the first place? People with complex trauma, otherwise known as complex post traumatic stress disorder, people that come from narcissistic family systems, people that are chronic people pleasers, people that have been bullied in the past, people with religious shame and perfectionism. What becomes ingrained into you is that we prioritize this illusion of safety over expression. And I say illusion of safety because at one point, people pleasing did keep us safe. At one point, hiding and suppressing our truth or our authentic self expression, our real selves, it was dangerous at one point. However, we leave these environments, these dysfunctional environments, but your nervous system is still operating from the old conditioning. So that's why some of us are unconsciously still prioritizing this sense of safety, this illusion of safety over expression. Your nervous system starts to ask, will people approve of me if I do this, if I show up this way? Will I be too much? Will I intimidate people? And am I going to stand out? You ask all these questions because you're trying to assess whether or not you will be safe. But my whole philosophy is developing this sense of safety into the body so that you can feel and be safe in your truthful expression. As a result of all of this anxiety, the conditioning, your natural desires, your truthful desires disappear or they become entirely suppressed. Basically, like we suffocate our desires because it wasn't safe. It wasn't safe at one point. Your preferences become unclear, so someone might ask you what you prefer, what you like, and you'll throw it back on them. I don't know, whatever you want. That's what happens when you don't have a strong sense of who you are and what you stand for. Not only that, you don't feel safe enough to. So you might know what you really want, but you don't feel safe expressing it. I was there too at one point. And authenticity feels unsafe. So you'll realize that self-abandonment does not just happen relationally. It goes as deep as existing in your closet, the way you dress yourself. The integration work looks like developing a close relationship with yourself by identifying your interests, your desires, your dislikes, and honoring them by releasing shame and guilt associated with being you. So, the cost of self abandonment. I want to talk about, if you'd like to share, Megan, like what has minimization or your self suppression or self abandonment, what has it cost you?
I see the list right there
Yeah.
and all things listed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I struggle like with even introducing myself to people. That's a big one. And so like I've
Okay.
like pathologically avoided, interviews.
Okay.
Any kind of like introducing myself to groups, like there's a high chance that I may not be able to do it. I'll just be able to maybe tell people like, I don't know, maybe I have a favorite color kind of thing. And I'll try to just pass it along as quickly as possible, which sometimes ends up getting me prodded as like, I guess
Yeah.
that looks suspicious to people,
Right.
And so, yeah, but yeah, opportunities, yeah, confidence, certainly creativity. Like, I'll have ideas of things to do, but I'm just kind of like, oh gosh, but then that's going to be out there and then someone's going to see it. And does it really represent what I'm thinking? How does it look to other people? And so much more concerned about what they're going to think or like, and then eventually it'll come to the big shutdown of like, oh, what does it even matter? What does,
Mm.
so yeah.
So you basically psych yourself out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like.
big time. I'm my best friend. We've been best friends since middle school. Her name's Yusra, and we're still best friends. But I remember the first time I tried to write her like a birthday card. I wrote this really cute card. I put cute pictures and everything, and then I just had this sudden shutdown of like, "What are you doing?
Uh-huh.
Weird. She's not gonna like this. This is like it's no good." And like I never gave it to her, and it
Yeah,
became a whole contention in our relationship of just like I'm not expressive to her of like how much she means to me or as a friend, and she felt like, you know, and in which she was, putting in the work to be expressive, but it wasn't
right.
reciprocated, so it caused her a lot of confusion, and and it hurt to hurt her,
Oh,
and
wow.
so
Yeah. So you're saying like suppressing yourself actually is causing like tension in some of your relationships?
yeah, like it significantly has. I think I've like found ways to like I show up, I'm a very communicative friend, but when it comes to I guess like maybe more like novel um
Hmm.
displays of expression, I struggle so with like birthdays, those things where it sticks out from just the like consistency.
Got it.
It's still a struggle, and I don't, and I've kind of think put it aside as like, oh, how am I ever going to really address that? Maybe I can't, but like I do want to try and like challenge that thought of like
Yeah.
it can't change.
Okay. You said it,
Oh, I'm sorry, you went out for a second.
you're saying it can change. You're affirming that it can, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. That's the mindset you need. Um, Affirming that, you are worthy. And I feel like a lot of this comes from this perfectionism. Like I'm sensing that maybe deep inside you're afraid of how it might be perceived, you're afraid of it being misunderstood. And so you avoid the action entirely, even though it excites you to share.
Yeah, spot on.
Hmm, cool. Yeah, no, I understand. I understand completely. Thank you for sharing though.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, of course. So every time we betray our desires, we reinforce the belief that our authentic self is unsafe, which kind of sounds like what you said, Megan. Some of the things I talk about is when we allow the fear to make these decisions for us, what we're doing, even though it is unconscious, is we are affirming that fear response has a place to be. Like it's actually protecting you from something. That's what happens. It's like positive reinforcement. And we
Mm,
want and we don't want to positively reinforce this reaction that is actually now sabotaging us.
hmm
At one point, self-suppression did protect you, but now it's sabotaging you. Now it's getting in the way. So that's when the work has to get started. That's when we have to move from awareness into integration. So using the awareness we have and beginning to integrate it slowly but surely. That is the process. Let's talk about as personal style is psychology. Clothing, the way you dress yourself, it communicates, number one, how comfortable you are with it. It represents to me the intimacy you have with yourself and the level of safety you have developed in your body. It communicates your identity, your values, your boundaries, your mood, and your energy. What we wear 100% affects your confidence, your behavior, and your self perception. What is that saying? It's not dress to impress, but it's like, oh, you dress good, you feel good. What is it? Good, feel
mm,
good. Yeah. They say you look good.
feel
And listen, looking good is subjective. That's why I'm emphasizing Looking good only is subjective to you.
Mm.
So style eventually becomes a language that articulates the relationship you have with yourself, the level of safety you feel with self-expression. So it's really easy to pick up on like how safe someone feels being themselves based off of the level of expression. And that's not to say that the louder, more bold, and more visible you are is a representation of the level of safety you have, because some people use that. Some people use like being really loud and visible and seen as a mask as well.
Mm.
So a lot of this work, we're focusing on the principles, we're focusing on the concepts more than an objective goal. The objective goal is unique to you. So authentic self-expression is going to be unique to you. Um, going to show up differently for everyone because authenticity looks different for everyone, of course. The goal here is shedding the layers of ourselves that we know isn't ourselves, that we know are protective mechanisms. That's the philosophy. That is the goal. It's not to become this diva. I talk a lot about being a diva because that's just a diva is someone that has these high standards, they have boundaries, and they don't care what no one says. They're gonna be them. A diva is themselves no matter what. That's the philosophy, and that's the philosophy I live by. And that's why I talk about it. It aligns so perfectly with this work.
Mm-hmm.
So self-expression becomes tangible once safety in the body is developed first. So let's dissect it. The way you oh, okay, hold on. So something you might do out of survival would be blending in. The opposite of that would be allowing yourself to be seen, even in very small increments. A survival mechanism and pattern would be avoiding judgment at all costs, avoiding being seen to avoid judgment. The
Mm-hmm.
opposite of that would be to honor your desires and honor what you truly want and don't want.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you show the body too that you can be trusted, like that you're a trusted adult for yourself, for your inner child, essentially. So rather than dressing for acceptance, you would dress for alignment. You would dress for a sense of joy and pleasure in your self expression. And instead of hiding your body, you would celebrate your body in whatever way feels comfortable for you, in whatever way feels good to you. Instead of fear based choices, you make intentional based choices, choice based choices. And instead of playing small, you decide to take up space by speaking out your truth, by communicating a boundary that you once felt nervous to share. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any pattern, survival pattern that you're coming up with and reflecting on right now, Megan, that you know should be like replaced?
Um,
If you feel comfortable sharing, by the way.
yeah. I'm just trying to collect my thoughts. I started thinking of like when I was very little of just like thinking like when I grew up, like I hope I can just wear sweatpants. I went to a school where you had to wear like a uniform and tights, and I didn't realize, I didn't know what sensory overload was, but that's what I was experiencing, like with the
Yeah.
clothing that I was like put in.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be comfortable and wanted that to be okay. And I went through a period of time where like when COVID came around, it was like I got to kind of like satisfy that desire a bit, which is great. But then like, and I realized though that like that was like my childhood like survival overload, like, like I just wanted to be accepted and feel comfortable. And that there really wasn't much thought after that, about like what do I like, or what feels expressive for me.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I like, and now I'm like, okay, like I've identified some things that I feel comfortable in, that like I think have, some personality, but I still have trouble like Like I won't go and seek out clothes. Usually like things people will be like, hey, do you like this? Like, do I have this thing or and stuff.
Yeah.
Things have
Yeah.
just kind of like flow to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll stop there because I think that's enough information for
Cool.
that.
Thank you for sharing that. All right. So we just wrapped up what a survival a way of being that is based in survival versus what it would look like for you to be in alignment with your authenticity, with your truth. So we're going to move forward to discussing style as a practice of self-trust. So style, your personal style, the way you decide to show up that day becomes a daily opportunity to ask, what do I actually want and what actually feels good? It's an opportunity for you to build that close relationship you need with yourself so that your body can slowly but surely start to feel safe. The reason why our bodies in survival mode feel so unsafe is because we are outsourcing our power. We're scanning our environment for safety rather than recognizing that now we have agency. Now we have power. We have the ability to assert ourselves now. But the nervous system doesn't know that. The only way to train your nervous system and reprogram it is through these actions where you show up for yourself, where you check in with yourself, where you move your emotions through your body somatically. That is how safety is integrated into the body. So it's an opportunity for you to figure out what do you really want, what feels good to you, rather than thinking what are people gonna like, or what is this environment asking of me, or what's age appropriate, or what
Mm.
won't offend anyone. And I said, boo, we're letting go of responsibility for people's feelings and instead fully owning our own feelings and pleasure and joy. So instead, you want to start asking what feels playful, what feels sensual, or elegant, or powerful. And most importantly, what brings you joy? What truly brings you joy? Instead of dressing up to hide yourself, say, what does I would ask, I would let my inner child like dress me up. Like literally, I would tap in. I say, what does Mariam want to dress up today? And then I would approach the whole experience of dressing myself up in this like really fun, lighthearted, whimsical way. And that in itself is so healing because it's like, oh my God, finally seen.
That's what's
Like,
up.
yeah, that's truly what our inner selves is being asked. They just want to be seen. And so the beautiful part is recognizing we have the power to see ourselves and then giving ourselves the opportunity to fully integrate that. And your personal style is just one way to do it. There's so many ways to do it. So before getting dressed, identify these 4 questions. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel powerful? Do you want to feel soft? Do you want to feel playful, mysterious, feminine, or masculine, or whichever, or creative? Identify, tap into yourself instead of like going on autopilot and putting on the last thing you wore just because it's the easiest thing.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever's clean,
Seriously.
whatever assortment.
Oh, literally. But think about like what you're communicating to your body and to your nervous system when you just take that time to slow down and make it like a ritual, like a sacred opportunity to connect with yourself and connect with your truth. It's like so beautiful. It really is because it's like an honor. Like what a beautiful way to honor yourself and to honor your truth is by slowing down enough for your inner self, your intuition to guide you.
Mm.
And that's what I've done before is like I have let my intuition decide for me like what do I want to wear today? And I'll just like grab a piece, I'll grab a shirt and I'll see how my body reacts because I use my body as a compass.
Mm,
Truly, that's like using your innate intuitive intelligence. We all have this ability.
hmm
And you can also think about like what colors energize you, what colors feel like you, what silhouettes make you feel the most alive, and what version of you are you honoring today? I want to touch on how recovery from complex trauma in the sense of developing your personal style. What's being asked of you is to get to know yourself more because we spent so many years abandoning ourselves and neglecting ourselves for survival. We've lost touch with who we are. That's why so many people with complex trauma are in my comments or in my sessions. They don't know who they are. They feel like they don't even know who they are. And that's because we haven't taken the time yet to develop a relationship with ourselves, an intimate, loving relationship. That is the foundation. Because without a foundation of self devotion, of developing this desire to get to know yourself, everything else that you build on top of that, it's going to be fractured and unstable and it will be misaligned. So I say that because I had to learn what looked good on me. But the only way to do that was by slowing down and steadying my face. Like when I was starting to put on makeup a few years ago, there's a point in my life where I truly felt like I would never be able to figure out how to put lip liner on my lips because I was like saying, "Oh, my lips are too thin." But no, all I needed was some patience and love and the will to figure out how to make this look good on me. And that in itself is communicating to my nervous system. Like that in itself, that act of self devotion is communicating and healing your nervous system and your body in real time because you're teaching it that number one, I'm worthy. Number one, number two, I am good enough to learn. I'm worthy of being learned. And the best place to start doing that is with yourself. A lot of us spend, so much of our lives chasing love, chasing belonging, chasing validation without recognizing that we have that power to give that to ourselves. So we spend all this time chasing, chasing, chasing.
hmm
How about we choose to recognize we have the power to do the choosing instead of waiting to be chosen? How about you decide that you are going to choose who gets to be in your space, who gets to be in your presence? Truly, like have, and that's what you get when you develop these boundaries and these standards. That's how you integrate being the chooser and claiming your power back, calling back your power. It's by asserting it. And you do that by deciding you will not settle for less. You will not settle for relationships where you have to be smaller than who you really are. You will not settle for environments where you are disrespected. Mm-mm. It's a decision to commit the rest of your life to yourself because you have decided you will no longer suffer. You will no longer struggle. You will no longer fight to belong. I went on a little tangent.
Oh, it's great.
But yeah, like I said earlier, play around with an intuitive style. Dressing intuitively means choosing outfits based on how you feel in the moment rather than conforming to strict trends. It prioritizes mindful self awareness, your personal comfort, and authenticity over external validation. An intuitive style relies on immediate, unconscious judgments, gut feelings, and holistic pattern recognition rather than step by step analytical processing.
Mm,
So instead of being really rigid with how you dress, have the intention of approaching it as like an art project, you know? See yourself, visualize yourself as an art project yourself. Play around with patterns, play around with textures, play around with different accessories like scarves, hats, like hair clips, bracelets. Um, yeah, learn what looks good on you because then your nervous system is like, because then you get happy. Then you're like, oh, I actually can look good in this. All I had to do was take the time to figure it out. And day by day, the more you practice that, you are building this sense of safety and belonging in your body. Because essentially, the goal is to come back home to yourself. We just need to be reminded that home is within, safety is within, and we're able to create that for ourselves. So, this is a little journal exercise. It's a style audit exercise that you can take with you.
Yeah.
To figure out and reflect on what parts of yourself have you been hiding. What pieces in your closet feel most like you? What pieces represent who I used to be, and I should add, and who I am becoming?
Mm.
That's what auditing it. Like I want you to audit your closet. I want you to go through your closet and figure out, like, is this still me? Like, hold it up. What feeling does it give you in your body? That's how you decide intuitively. Like I used to have a lot of clothes that, like, number one were hand me downs, and number two, they were too big on me. And for some reason, I forgot that I can just replace them. Like, I don't have to keep wearing these clothes that don't make me feel good. I have agency. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
complex trauma makes you feel a choice. It makes you feel helpless.
Yeah.
But then I realized, oh wait, I can just throw these away. These don't even look good on me. You know?
It's like, well, I don't have to do this. I'm the adult.
No.
I'm the adult. I'm the adult. I'm the
Yes.
adult. Oh God.
Literally. Literally. That's literally it. Like, oh, I have the power to choose now. Seriously. But yeah, think about, like, if nobody could judge you, hypothetically, what would you wear? Because
Mm.
that's because that's representing who you truly are. And not you're not making these decisions of personal style based on, like, what you think will grant you acceptance or belonging. You're dressing yourself up for your own pleasure, for your own joy. And then decide, like, what words describe the person you're becoming. All these different examples. Like, who are you becoming? Are you becoming more refined, more playful, more bold, sensual, artistic, radiant, or sophisticated?
Mm.
Maybe all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. Practical reclamation.
Mm.
Okay. I became the woman I am today because I had to stop prioritizing people's opinions over my own. But to fully integrate this, it took months and years. It really did take years. It takes time. This isn't something that can happen like overnight. What you can do overnight, though, is make a decision, make a commitment so that moving forward, your decisions will, you will make sure that your decisions are aligning with the commitment you've made to self devotion. So your power and your confidence is not built through dramatic transformations or overnight transformations. It is built through micro acts of visibility.
Mm.
So to give you some examples, if you're someone that um, tries to blend in, wearing muted colors, you can try wearing color again. Mix colors complement your skin complexion and bring out your natural color. You can experiment with wearing jewelry, changing your hairstyle, which is something I did when I finally decided to not sacrifice myself anymore. Because you'll, in my old pictures, I don't know if I have, let me see, I forget. In the old pictures, I had my hair long for a really long time, even though, yeah, I had really long hair for a long time. Even though I wanted to cut it, and it was actually longer than this.
Mm.
It was a few years ago that I finally, like, went for it. I wanted to cut my hair for years, but I just didn't feel, I didn't trust myself that it was going to be a good decision because everyone around me told me that it wasn't going to look good. You see, I had long hair. I had long hair here and here. I let it grow out after that one time. But then last year, I went all in and I cut that thing off because that's what I always wanted to do. And it
Mhm.
feels so much more like me and I'm happy, you know?
It's lovely. It looks so
Yeah.
good.
Yes, thank you. But seriously, like I just finally went all in on myself.
Mm.
I stopped shrinking myself because my long hair represented the people pleaser me. My short hair represents me taking back my power. Hmm. That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, because the goal is not perfection. It's simply building your tolerance to discomfort so that you can more fully embody your true self day by day. So the goal, in other words, is increasing your capacity to be seen by doing these micro acts of visibility.
Micro acts of visibility. I like that.
Uh-huh. Micro, yes, micro acts of visibility. What's the smallest way that you can start allowing yourself to be seen? Like you know what I'm saying? Every day, 1%, 1% more.
Hmm.
That's how you build capacity. That's how you build the, this capacity to be present even through discomfort.
Mm.
Even, you know, because there will be times where you know that you're being judged, you know that you're being talked about, you know people are talking about you. The
Yeah.
goal is to be like grounded through that because
Hmm.
we can't we there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do to avoid criticism, avoid judgment. The body just needs to know that it's going to be safe
Hmm.
even though that happens. It needs to know that it's safe with you. So that's when you have to step up and show yourself like, yeah, I got you, you're safe. We'll walk away if we have to. Like genuinely
Yeah.
like parenting your inner child.
I think that's like the big thing to like for me sometimes remember is like, hey, something gets weird, if something gets awkward, you don't have to sit in it.
Yeah,
Like just remember like, hey, someone treats you weird, you feel odd about it, we can just go. And like
right.
that's been that even that's just like it's still it's a practice I said like, like the months to years, I just feel like it's a constant practice. So trying to like be like, yeah, I can trust myself to navigate away from situations that are hostile.
Yes.
And I think also to stick up for myself in them as well. Because I think for a while
Yeah.
it was just the fleeing, but I also struggled to be like, well, how do you also have like the fight response as well?
You're
When
asking
I guess yeah, like it's like a question in my head, but yeah, definitely posing it too.
you were saying how do you still have the fight response? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like I feel so much for me was just like flee and
Okay.
hide.
Mm-hmm.
And and when it came to confrontation
Uh-huh.
and like not having feeling like I won't have the capacity for that, and the capacity, like I said, just even to like be seen. It's like
Yeah.
having my name called. I wouldn't want to go places I knew my name would be called because I'd just be scared of that like one little interaction. It's not even confrontation, but
Mm.
it feels suddenly like it opens up to me, like me being there. And then there's like actual like confrontation of someone, just like, actually challenging something, or like, judgment is on the line, which is totally
Yeah.
normal, but that like I would just feel so like avoidant of
Yeah.
those situations. I
Right.
feel maybe losing the plot a little bit, but maybe you can help me.
No, no, I understand. I understand that. So like you're saying you avoid this situation completely just so that you don't have to potentially experience it. And what's interesting is that like the mind foreshadows pain without even there being any guarantee that what's going to happen. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? It's crazy. It's but truly like have compassion for your these are these are survival responses. Like they manifested due to real experiences we had.
Mm,
So it's like don't beat yourself up. Like we're not crazy, we're not lazy, we're not imagining things. Like the body's responding to what was once real for it. The work now is removing all those layers and showing your body, showing your nervous system that there's a new reality here. We're safe now. But the only way to ingrain that into the nervous system is by these micro acts of visibility. Like we can't work around it. So we work through the discomfort, through the fear. We have to do the work. But it's so rewarding at the end of the day. It's so rewarding to witness yourself becoming the person you always needed as a child. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk somatic integration. So the next time you take initiative to incorporate some of your true self in your self-expression, take a moment to be mindful. Become mindful of the sensations that arise. Is it fear? And if it is fear, choose to dig deeper. Is it fear? What is it a fear of? Identify like what your body is anticipating. Is it ridicule? Is it people judging you? Is it humiliation? Or even ostracization? Is it rejection maybe? Are you
Hmm.
afraid of challenging people's perception of you? Because this is something I hear frequently from people. We're afraid of integrating who our old selves with who we know we are truly, because they're afraid of challenging people's preconceived notions of them. It feels uncomfortable to have to explain yourself potentially or get these questions. Like people are going to start asking questions when they start seeing you becoming this newer version of yourself, this more real version of yourself. And it's going to upset people that were comfortable with you making yourself small.
Mm.
Yeah. That's so it is real stuff the body is afraid of. We're afraid of being who we really are because we know subconsciously, we know internally that the majority of the people around us actually only exist, these relationships only exist when I am sacrificing myself, sacrificing my dignity, sacrificing my truth. So putting a name to the feeling helps you tackle the somatic objection head on. That visceral reaction you get. Let's say when you have to speak out for your truth, when you have to explain, when you have to set a boundary, your body is going to have anxiety, and it helps to put a name to it. So rather than pushing forward with force, take a moment to pause, feel, and reflect on what comes up. And know that excitement and fear can and do coexist. Visibility is not always dangerous. And affirm to yourself, I don't need permission to express myself. I'm allowed to take up space. My desires are trustworthy and my decisions are trustworthy. I should add that. A lot of us with complex trauma, we gaslight ourselves. Oh my God.
Yep.
Seriously. Yes. Affirm
Late.
to yourself, your decisions are trustworthy. Your instincts are trustworthy. I swear the most scariest, insidious part about like narcissistic abuse is that it trains you. It trains you to like second guess your intuition, second guess your truth. That's why it's so dangerous. That's why so many of us end up in these narcissistic relationships, repeating the pattern, because we've been taught, it's been conditioned to gaslight ourselves.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The lack of trust is something I'm
Yeah.
just like this, and so much doubt. And I feel like, and maybe at one point, like I think I valued doubt, because I felt like it was what gave me extra like scrutiny in certain situations and like provided information that like helped me navigate out of situations, and that just like stayed like such a foundational narrative, in everything, where it's just like, well, what if it's this and what if that, or do I really trust my perception of that, is this,
Yeah.
and it's taken, and I'm still in the process, and I think it'll just be lifelong of just like, all right, what do I think of this? How do I see that? And I'm going to act on how I feel about something. And I'm also totally fine with the consequences of that.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Exactly.
it's hard. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
keeps popping up in ways where I'm just like, I didn't realize I did it in that fast of my life as well. I didn't realize I did it in that fast, you know.
Right.
Mm.
That is so cool that like you're able to recognize that and affirm like that you're gonna be fine no matter the consequences. It's so empowering to remind yourself like I'm gonna be able to survive whatever happens after I set these boundaries or after I show up for myself. So
Yeah.
you're doing the work. Yes, you're doing the work. That's awesome. And the last two affirmations affirm that your body, my body, is not a problem to solve, and that
Mm.
you don't have to abandon yourself to belong. Let's move on to the action challenge. Okay, choose one thing this week. Wear something that you've been saving. Wear something that you've been wanting to wear, but just didn't have the confidence to. Experiment with color. Experiment with things that are calling your name, but you're convincing yourself, no, I can't pull that off. No, you can pull it off. Just put it on and find it out for yourself. Yes, like put together in an outfit just because it makes you happy. Wear something that reflects who you are becoming. Show up as the person you know you truly are and stand in it, like stand in that 10 toes down. And if needed, start alone, like do it in the privacy of your home. Start small. Get used to the feelings that come up and challenge them. Then choose yourself, anyways, because this is a journey of self devotion. When narcissistic abuse forced you to outsource approval, validation, safety, you will now radically choose yourself. You will now commit to prioritizing yourself, your joy, your pleasure, play, ease, and safety. And you will now recognize the power within you to create this reality for yourself. And finally, remember that personal style is not superficial. It is one of the most accessible ways to practice self-devotion. And one of the easiest ways you can begin to integrate self-devotion in, increments. Every morning, every day when you get dressed, you're answering a question. Will I abandon myself today or will I honor who I am becoming? Mm-hmm. And speaking of becoming,
That's really big. I'm a crier, by the way. If I start crying, it'll stop.
oh, okay, let it out. Feel the feelings. Feel it. Speaking of becoming, I am introducing my 8-week journey called the unbecoming. The unbecoming.
Ooh.
Moving from survival to self-devotion. And if today's class resonated with you, I want to invite you into the deeper body of work. It's an 8-week group program for the creator, the founder, and the artist who is tired of shrinking, hiding, overthinking, and abandoning themselves in order to be accepted or understood. Let me point out that history remembers the artists, the creatives, the visionaries who were willing to disappoint the crowd in service of their truth. Because originality, creation, self-devotion has always required courage. Maya Angelou spoke truths that many people preferred remain unspoken. She was a truth teller. Truth tellers are often exiled. They are often pushed out because they go against the status quo.
Hmm.
Society loves people that can just blend in and get into line.
Society's a narcissistic abuser.
Oh, seriously, seriously, literally, because you have to find it in yourself to, number one, commit to yourself no matter the consequences, and you have to be willing to confuse people, disappoint people, and frustrate people, and bring out people's insecurities. You have to be grounded in yourself enough to be like, I can handle that. It's more important to me that I am in my truth, more so than it's more important to me that I'm in my truth than belonging to this group that I don't even resonate with. And Frida, she transformed pain, disability, and identity into art that defied conventional beauty standards. I love Frida.
Yeah.
I love her work. And Prince, he was radically expressive and unwilling to dilute himself for the industry. He's an icon. So
Mm-hmm.
over the 8 weeks, we will work through the process of reclaiming your identity, rebuilding self-trust, and becoming safe enough in your body to express who you actually are. So week 1 looks like the survival audit. We will be identifying the version of you that was built for survival. And one of the things we're doing in this week is bringing into conscious awareness your current self-concept. And your current self-concept is identified through your habits, your self-beliefs, your limiting beliefs. This is all what makes up your self-concept. So,
Major.
yeah, it's shedding light on the current paradigm running your life right now. So this week is about recognizing where you learn to shrink, perform, please, hide, or disconnect from your own desires. And the little is clarity. You will name the patterns, the beliefs, and identities that are no longer allowed to run your life unconsciously. Because, like I said earlier, the first step towards transformation, towards evolution, towards self-reclamation is awareness, becoming aware of what is going on under the surface, which is also why I offer my root reclamation sessions, is to uproot these survival patterns.
I thought that's the one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked cool.
Mm-hmm. Hop on in, Megan.
Um, yeah, I think I'm here for it.
Yes.
Yeah, this sounds
So
great.
heck yeah, it really is. It really is. Like it's really like deep work. Like a lot of us are running on these survival patterns and these identities that we have outgrown, and we know we've outgrown them. We're frustrated with the self-sabotage. We're frustrated with abandoning ourselves, but yet we it's hard for us to feel confident, courageous, or clear enough, safe enough to embody who we know we are, embody who we know we need to become for this next chapter of our lives. So week 2 looks like integrating somatic safety and emotional reconnection. So before you can express yourself freely, your body needs to feel safe enough to be honest. Like I just said, this week focuses on recognizing emotional suppression, your fear responses, including the shame, your freezing, your fawning, and the visibility anxiety. A lot of us have fear about being seen.
Big, big. It's like a patchwork of like, okay, got a little bit of here, right there, and I think I'm doing better. And then I'll be in another situation. I'm like, it's still a problem. It's still a real big problem. And I'm like, all right, like I gotta dig deeper here somehow. And figure out what is this underlying pattern because the patchwork is it's great. Impressive, Megan, impressive. But there's more going on, and I think I deserve better.
And you do. You do. I'm glad you recognize that for yourself. That's the first step, is knowing you deserve better and knowing that there's more out there for you. Like there's so much to life than we currently allow ourselves. And it sucks to recognize like damn, like I could be getting so much more out of my career, out of my creative expression, out of my art, out of my business, my career, if I just felt safe enough to be seen, to put myself out there extensively. You know what I'm saying? Like so many of us are battling with our old identities because we know who we need to become, but that we're also aware the nervous system, the body doesn't feel safe enough. So this is the work of integration, is moving from awareness to integration, awareness to visualization. We got to visualize where we're heading, now that we have the awareness of where we're currently at. And then after visualization, we do the work of integration. Following integration is the embodiment, where you no longer have to consciously think about what you're doing because it becomes natural for you to make decisions that are in alignment with your best self, with what serves you rather than what serves others. So, yeah, it's like a 4-phase process that I put together.
I like
But
it.
yes, so week 2, the deliverable for week 2 is a personal regulation toolkit that helps you return to yourself when being seen feels threatening. Week 3, we are focusing on desire, pleasure, and preference reclamation. Years of self-abandonment can make you forget what you even like. So this week is about rebuilding intimacy with your own desires, your taste, your style, your voice, your sensuality, your creativity, joy, and personal preferences. The deliverable is a desire map that helps you identify what feels most alive, honest, and true for you. For many of us with complex trauma, one of these symptoms is dissociation. We lose touch with ourselves. We lose touch with the present moment. And so having something that you can refer back to, having a toolkit that is grounded in your truth for you to look back on and reflect on is going to help a person shift out of that state of dissociation. That is the goal, at least. And week 4, we will be working on speaking with self-honor. So this week is about reclaiming your voice. It's about activating your throat chakra. Some of my videos, I talk heavily on activating your throat chakra because to activate your throat chakra means to get comfortable with your self-expression. That's in the form of setting these boundaries, using your voice to set these boundaries, not fawning. You'll notice some people will speak in a very high tone, and that's like a fawn response. It's not grounded in the gut.
Yeah, I can feel it when I'm in like a fawn state, and it's a lot to recover from.
Yes, yes, I understand that. And when you're in that fawn state, are you like aware of it, and then you struggle to move out of it, or are you able to register what's going on and kind of get grounded again?
Um, well, I'm fortunate that like it's not frequent that it happens, and
Yeah.
I think like just situations that I'm triggered to even go into it like are just been low stakes. But so I think I usually can tell that it's happened. And and yeah, and there hasn't been like a prolonged situation. It's like okay, it's happening right now. I sometimes I think I'm able to make it out in the interaction, but sometimes it's like, all right, like I'm just getting through this, and then when the interaction is over, then I can come back to myself and be like, okay, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then just like and kind of just like be compassionate about like, hey, that's okay. Why, like, what about that situation came up? What about it made you feel like you had to perform, in
Mhm.
a way, for that person? Yeah, because I feel like so much of like my trauma is just like fawning and performance and like trying to be consistent and be what people want me to be. And I don't know, and I have a history of failing terribly. Like as people do, but then also of just like yeah. Anyways, let's stop there.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's like a good practice to, after leaving a situation, like taking that moment to reflect, like what in that situation triggered this fawning response? Like what felt unsafe? Why did I not feel comfortable or safe enough to exist naturally and be who I really am, be truthful about my presence? That's awesome that you do that. Okay, week 4, reclaiming your voice, getting comfortable with your self expression. We practice naming what you feel, what you need, what you want, and what you no longer consent to. This is the week of setting boundaries, of developing these standards that are going to honor ourselves, honor our best selves. And the focus isn't like becoming super aggressive or perfectly confident. The focus is learning how to tell the truth without abandoning yourself. So the deliverable of week 4 is a personal communication framework for your needs, your boundaries, opinions, and desires. Week 5, as identity reclamation, turns your self-expression into something visible. We explore clothing, color, beauty, adornment, sensuality, and personal presentation as tools for self-devotion, which is what this class was dedicated to. You'll examine what you've been hiding, what you've been afraid to wear, and what version of you is asking to be expressed. The deliverable is your personal style reclamation plan, integration plan, not just the plan, because we're getting to work. We're not just planning, because we really do have to move out of awareness and knowing things into doing the thing. That's how change happens. So week 6 is visibility tolerance and being seen. This week is where we work with the discomfort of being noticed, whether that means posting online, dressing more boldly, speaking up at work, being more expressive in relationships, or letting people witness your personality. We practice staying with yourself while being seen. The deliverable is a visibility stretch plan with small, real life actions that build your capacity without overwhelming your nervous system. It's doing the work in increments of 1%. Otherwise, you will overwhelm your nervous system. You will shift into shutdown because there's too much going on at once. So the goal is moving slowly but surely, and at the same time in alignment with your end goal. So week 7 is embodying your authentic self-expression. This week is about making your new identity real through behavior. We look at your habits, your rituals, decisions, environment, content, if you're a content creator, style, relationships, and self-talk. The focus is on becoming the version of you who no longer needs external permission to exist fully. The deliverable is your embodiment blueprint, the daily and weekly practices that anchor your self-trust. Now, finally, week 8, integration, celebration, and sustainable self-devotion. We're going to close off by reflecting on what has changed, what you are no longer available for, and what version of you is now leading. So it's putting that survival identity to sleep, thanking that version of you that kept you safe all those years, and releasing it, letting it know that we're safe now. I can take the lead now. So this week is about integration, not perfection. The deliverable is your continuation plan, how you will keep choosing yourself, expressing yourself, and honoring yourself after the program ends. And by the end of these 8 weeks, you will have evidence that teaches your body and reprograms the conditioning that it is safe to exist, it is safe to be seen, it is safe to assert yourself. You will develop evidence that you can speak up, that you can be seen, that you can honor your desires, and that you can express yourself without abandoning yourself. So the entire goal of the 8 weeks is to develop a more intimate relationship with yourself and integrating safety into the body. So this program, these 8 weeks are dedicated to doing the work and having the intention every single day within the program, within the 8 weeks we are together. You have an intention to show up for yourself, to express yourself honestly. So these 8 weeks are a commitment to self-devotion, a commitment to self-honor. This work is about finally becoming safe enough to be who you were before survival taught you to hide. This work is about giving yourself permission to exist as the most honest version of yourself. Finally, every masterpiece began with someone choosing self-expression over self-betrayal. We begin on July 6th. The founding member investment is only $697 through June 22nd, which is a week from now. The future investment after that, the 22nd through the 6th, is $997. And over the last year, to wrap it up, I have had the privilege of working with women navigating self-abandonment, visibility wounds, and identity reclamation. The transformations I have witnessed have only strengthened my conviction that self-expression is one of the most profound pathways back to ourselves. So if you're ready to stop shrinking, stop waiting for permission, and begin building a life rooted in self-trust, play, pleasure, and self-devotion, I would be honored to walk alongside you. And most importantly, you don't have to do this work alone.
So
Thank
good.
you.
This is
Thank
really,
you.
yeah, wow. This is really interesting. I love how you've put everything together. It resonates. And just like also just going for the personal style like aspect, I'm just like, man, like that pulled me in. I was like, oh, like I'm feeling all right about that, but you know what? There's something there. And yeah, that sounds like a really great 8 weeks, honestly. Like I
Yeah.
started therapy for the first time, I think it was in September of last year, and it was very timely because I went through something really stressful and I was able
Yeah.
to like blurt out a lot, do a lot. But since I just recently became a resident of Pennsylvania, I'm from Brooklyn, for
Uh-huh.
so it's New York State resident. So I just switched and I'm in between therapists right now. But I feel like this would be great because I feel I would love to just target like the CPTSD
Yeah.
experience I've had and how that's affected my life. And
Yeah.
so much of what you've discussed are the hangups that I'm seeing repetitively over the course of my interactions with people, getting in the way of opportunities, my own business, and just being
Yeah.
expressive. So, yeah, I'm really excited about those 8 weeks, and I'll be following up about that.
Nice. I'm so excited to hear that. What do you do, Megan? You said you own a business?
I do freelance web development, so I help people out with their websites. I do WordPress, Squarespace. A lot of word of mouth stuff has come to me,
Yeah.
or business has come that way just because I have trouble putting myself out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so like I want to put consistent effort into my endeavors because I would like to help people more in that kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just how to keep showing up for the things that I find valuable and not just what everyone else, deems valuable or worrying about the chatter of what people think when working
Yeah.
on those like endeavors. And
Right.
also maybe not getting so caught up in the stuff going on around me and like how to carve out that time that prioritizes
Right.
as well because I can get caught like there's always something in life going on,
Yeah.
like being like, hey, this requires your attention now. And I'm trying to figure out how to prioritize my desires in that because I can see that I can put myself on the back burner my entire
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you're noticing that you're putting yourself last. So
yeah.
what is the ideal shift you're looking for? What do you imagine yourself? Who is the version of you that you imagine yourself at the end of these 8 weeks?
If I may be so bold.
Yes, please.
I think I've like not let myself have visions like that.
Oh.
Um I would like to be someone who prioritizes my business, my web development business, and I would like to take time also to pursue a creative endeavor that is just something that feels representative of my life or an experience that I've had. Like I have like thoughts that come up for just even like a little drawing or, or something that feels like expressive of something that I went through or I'm just like feeling about a situation and I don't do it. Um, I honestly, I think that matters more to me than anything. So I feel like that is kind of in the way. Like the business stuff, like I feel like even me wanting to prioritize that is a little bit of the like I want to do things for others,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
aspect and like and I yeah. And that's great. But I think the latter part of just prioritizing a creative endeavor that is just for me, um, is really like what I want.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm glad that you can visualize this for yourself because that's really important. Being able to visualize where you're headed and then becoming aware of what your current blockages are. Like that's honestly like those are the ingredients. Those are the ingredients that trigger the avalanche of shedding all of the things, the behaviors, the beliefs that don't serve you. So yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I just even vocalizing that right now, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay. Hold on
totally.
to that feeling. Hold on to that feeling and really like sit in it and understand that it is so possible for you. This is only the beginning. Yeah.
That's, yeah, I like that.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Seriously.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm so glad that even though the algorithms in this world are cursed and make cursed things happen, you're an absolute gift to show up, and I'm looking forward to checking out the 8 week.
Sweet. I'm so excited too.
Yeah.
I will include it in the link that I'm sending out to the people that registered for today's class. It will have the replay and the link to the 8 weeks if you're ready to move forward. So yeah, that will be in tonight's email.
Cool beans. Alrighty. I am just heads up, I am going through a medical emergency with my mom. So if it takes me a little while to follow up, it's just because I gotta do some of that, but I will follow up.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you for letting me know. And I hope everything turns out okay with your mom, Megan.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you for joining today's class. And
Mm.
we'll talk soon.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Mariam.
Of course. You take care.
Bye.
Mhm.